You are welcome to ANA 212 Regional Anatomy, Study Section 1, Introduction to Regional Anatomy. Human anatomy is the scientific study of the body structure. The study of the body structure can be generalized into two major approaches, which is regional and systemic. Regional anatomy is the study of the interrelationship of all of the structures in a specific body region, such as the abdomen. In this study section, you will be introduced to more details on regional anatomy, the directional anatomy, regional terms, and the body planes. When you will have studied this study section 1, you should be able to discuss the details of regional anatomy and anatomical position. You should be able to describe the human body using directional and regional term. And you should be able to discuss the three planes most commonly used in the study of anatomy. You should be able to state the body cavities. You should be able to state the four quadrants and the main region of the body cavity. Regional anatomy. Regional anatomy is the science which deals with the forms, position, relationship, and related clinical applications of the structure of the body in a given region, just based on the knowledge of systematic human anatomy. Regional anatomy describes each location, the position of each organ, each layer, the related causes, and the interrelationship in human body. The human body should be divided into 8 parts: the head, the neck, the upper limbs, the lower limbs, the thorax, the abdomen, the pelvis, the perineum, and the vertebral region. Let's start with anatomical position. Anatomical position of the human body is the precision which are generally accepted as a standard by the anatomist as the way in which the body will be filled. Just as maps are normally oriented with knots at the top, the standard body map or anatomical position is that of the body standing upright with the feet at the shoulder width and parallel to the toes, with the toes looking forward. The upper limbs are held up to each side and the palms of the hands face forward as illustrated in the slide. Directional terms in anatomy. Standardized terms of reference are used when anatomists describe the location of the body parts. Relative means the location of one part of the body is always described in relation to another part of the body. For instance, an anatomist might describe one part of the tissue as being inferior to another, or a physician might describe a tumor as superficial to a deeper body structure. The table on the slide you are looking at shows the directional terms used in anatomy, their definition, and examples. Let's start with number 1. We have the anterior, which describes the front or direction towards the front of the body. For example, the toes are anterior to the foot. We have posterior. It describes the back or direction towards the back of the body. For example, the popliteus is posterior to the patella. Then we have superior. It describes a position above or higher than another part of the body proper. For example, the orbits are superior to the oris. Then we have inferior. It describes a position below or lower than another part of the body proper, near or towards the tail. For example, in human, the coccyx or is the lowest part of the the pelvis of the spinal column is at the inferior part of the body. Then we have the pelvis is inferior to the abdomen. Lateral, it describes the side or direction towards the side of the body. The tongue is lateral to the digit. Proximal, it describes a position in a limb that is near to the point of attachment or the trunk of the body. For example, the brachium is proximal to the antebrachium. Then we have the medial. It describes the middle or direction towards the middle of the body. For example, we have the allus is the medial toe. Then distal, it describes a position in limb that is farther from the point of attachment or the trunk of the body. For example, we have the cross is a distance to the femur. Then we have superficial. This describes a position closer to the surface of the body. For example, the skin is superficial to the bones. And lastly, we have the deep. It describes a position farther from the surface of the body. For example, the brain is deep in the skull. This is directional terms applied to the human body. You can study it. Then let's go to regional terms. The human body's numerous regions have specific terms to help increase precision. The body regions are axial body part. It is the part of the body near the axis of the body. This includes the head, the neck, thorax or chest, abdomen, and the pelvis. Then we have appendicular body part. It is the part of the body out of the axis line. This includes the upper and the lower extremities. Planes of the body. Body planes are imaginary surfaces or planes, lines that divide the body into sections. Body sections and scans can be correctly interpreted, however, only if the viewer understands the plane along which the section was made. There are three planes commonly referred to in anatomy and medicine, and they are sagittal plane, coronal plane, and the frontal plane, as illustrated in the slides you are looking at. Let's start with the sagittal plane. Sagittal plane is the plane that divides the body or an organ vertically into right and left sides. If this vertical plane runs directly down the middle of the body, it is called the mid-sagittal or medial plane. If it divides the body into unequal right and left sides, it is called a parasagittal plane, or less commonly a longitudinal section. Lastly, the frontal plane. Frontal plane is the plane that divides the body or an organ into an anterior portion and posterior portion. The frontal plane is often referred to as a coronal plane. Body cavities. The body maintains its internal organization by means of membranes, sheaths, and other structures that separate compartments. The two main body cavities are the larger ventral or anterior and the smaller dorsal posterior body cavity. The dorsal posterior cavity and the ventral cavity are the largest body compartments. The ventral body cavity constitutes the thoracic cavity and the abdominopelvic body cavity. Abdominal regions and quadrants. The abdominal regions is divided into 9 regions and 4 quadrants to promote clear communication, for instance, about the location of a patient's abdominal pain or a suspicious mass by healthcare providers. Abdominopelvic quadrants. They are right abdominopelvic, right upper quadrant, left upper quadrant, right lower quadrant, and left upper quadrant. Then the abdominal regions are right hypochondriac region, left hypochondriac region, epigastric region, right lumbar region, left lumbar region, umbilical region, right iliac region, and the left iliac region. Thanks for listening. See you in the next class.